Once again, good morning. This is the Complete Streets Technical Assistance informational call on the request for proposals that's out currently through the Active Transportation Alliance. I wanted to let everybody know that this session is being recorded so that we can send it out later to folks that might not be able to make it today. And we will give people maybe one more minute to join us, and then we'll get started. Okay, last time. Good morning, everyone. This is Melody Geraci. I'm the Deputy Director at the Active Transportation Alliance, and you are logged into the Complete Streets Technical Assistance Request for Proposals information call. We welcome you all here today and hope that this is useful to you and that you get the information that you need. Just a few little procedural things. We have you all on mute right now on your phones. So we will keep you on mute until the end of the presentation, which is not very lengthy. It's pretty short and compact. And then we will take questions from you through the Q&A. You should have a field on your screen where you can type in questions. And when that happens, as you provide a question, we'll unmute you individually so you can ask that question over the phone. And then we can have the discussion. Anything else, people around the table, that I'm forgetting? Okay, let's go ahead and advance to the first slide here. I'll tell you a little bit about the Active Transportation Alliance. We are a nonprofit organization that promotes better walking, bicycling, and public transportation for people in the Chicago metro region. We were founded in 1985 as the Chicagoland Bicycle Federation. So our roots and our hearts lie with the bicycle community, but we have in the last 5 to 10 years become very strong advocates for walking and public transportation as well. We have roughly 7,000 members and about 30 staff members, give or take, depending on the time of the year. And again, we serve metropolitan Chicago. And at this time, I'd like my co-presenters from Active Trans, who are also on the phone, to introduce themselves very briefly. So sitting to my left here is Heather Shady.
Hi everyone, my name is Heather Shady and I'm the Senior Transportation Planner for Active Transportation Alliance.
And phoning in remotely is Leslie Feemister. Leslie, introduce yourself.
Hi, I'm Leslie. I am the Outreach Manager for Active Trans.
Yes, and Leslie specializes in suburban communities, predominantly South Suburban and Southwestern Suburban. We also have another outreach manager, Nancy Wagner, who focuses on the western and northwestern and northern suburbs of Chicago Metro, both in Cook County and the Collier counties as well.
And I'm Casey Holloway. I am currently the project manager for the Pitch project here at Active Trans.
Okay, let's go to the next slide. So that's us. The person who will be taking over for Casey is Hannah Kite, and she will be starting in a couple of weeks. So moving forward with this project, either Hannah or Leslie or Nancy will probably be your main contact people if you have enduring questions or need assistance with the application procedure. So our agenda today is fairly brief. We're going to do a very quick review of what complete streets are. I think probably a lot of you on the phone already know a lot about complete streets. Some of you might be new to this territory, so we'll just review some of the basics. Then we're going to go over the technical assistance opportunity and explain what's involved in that and what you will gain if you are a selected community. We'll talk about the application itself and a few of the guidelines around that. and then go over the overall timeline. This is a 2.5-year project in total. So the technical assistance that you would be receiving if you are an awarded community would last through the middle of 2017. So Leslie, I'm going to turn it over to you now, and Leslie is one of our in-house geniuses on the topic of complete streets, and she's going to take you through the basics. Go ahead, Leslie.
Great. So I'm going to start by just telling you a little bit about complete streets. And really, the basis of complete street is it's a roadway that is able to have everybody in every type of mode and every ability be able to walk along it or cross it. That's sort of the simple answer, right? Can you go to the next slide, please? But of course, there's a lot more to it than that, than just, hey, this street is easy to walk along and cross, right? So we want it to be safe and comfortable. And we want it to be convenient. And not only do we want to build the roadway for getting people along it and across it, but also for what land use is there along the road as well. So you don't need to have roadways that have bike lanes all over or sidewalks on every street. All right, can you go to the next slide, please, Casey? So there's all different types of facilities that a complete street can be. It can be a sidewalk, it can be a bus shelter, it can be a bike lane, it can be bus rapid transit, but it can also be a roadway that has nothing on it. Not every street needs to have a sidewalk. If you have a low volume street with low speed, you can have people just walk right down the middle of it, and that's a complete street. So there's many different things that go with it, and no street is ever exactly the same as another one. And that's sort of where these complete streets policies come in. There is a lot of benefits to complete streets. And they're, of course, health. You're obviously more active when you're walking and biking, but even people who take transit are more active. They are getting a lot more steps in their day because they're walking back and forth to the public transit. There's economic benefits not only for each household, but for municipalities as well. Businesses tend to thrive when there is walking and biking traffic. You don't, it's kind of like that pack of gum when you're standing at the cash register. When you're walking and biking, you're able to see things that are in the window. You're going to be a little more spontaneous when you're buying. But it also brings up property values. So houses that have a trail nearby can have property values increase from $5,000 to $34,000. So there's lots of different ways that it can be economically beneficial. But people are also more socially involved because when you're in a car, you might see someone and wave, and that's maybe if you see them going past at 30 miles an hour. When you're walking and biking, you're able to interact with people and meet your neighbors and sort of get that sense of community going on when you have people out and about. So it gives the community sort of this purpose and binds them around the value of walking and biking and their abilities. Can you go to the next slide, please? Many communities, from municipalities to townships to counties to states, are passing complete streets policies, and obviously they are going crazy here in the United States. There's over 350 jurisdictions that have already done this, and more are coming. So here in Cook County, we've worked with many different communities. Sort of these ones in blue are the suburban areas in the Chicagoland region that we have passed complete streets policies already. And they're moving forward with getting all of these different aspects of their of complete streets into their communities as roadway projects come. Next slide, please. So complete streets, we heard, the basis of it, right? So it's the street that makes it easy to travel along and cross, and not only easy, but pleasant and fit for the proper land use that's there. This complete streets policy gives you sort of a roadmap on how to move forward with any road project. So it gives you the outline of this is the process you should follow while you're developing your roadways. So it's not just saying that we're going to put a sidewalk in every street, but it's saying, look at the land use, look at the traffic, look at the speed, look how many people travel along that roadway. And each roadway is, of course, different and designed differently depending on what sort of plans you have and the land uses. So a good complete streets policy makes this happen. It makes each roadway be able to be a complete street and be an individual sort of street that the street is designed for what is actually there. You go to the next slide, please. So this is, plans of course are important, and a plan will give you sort of what the treatment can be for each roadway, or depending what kind of plan it is, if it's land use, and it impacts the most amount of people. So anytime that there is a repaving project or a reconstruction project, it gives you that opportunity to be able to make that a complete streets project as well. So it changes the way that decisions are made, because we're making this policy to give guidelines on what is going to happen moving forward. And it's also going to outlast any political climate that might go on. So if you get a new mayor, or even if your plans get out of use, this policy is going to last longer. And it's sort of the infrastructure is the policy that's set in concrete.
Okay, great. We're going to transition again, and Heather's going to take the reins to talk about the technical assistance opportunity.
Okay, thanks, Leslie and Melody. So as you may be aware, this project is a subset of an initiative led by the Cook County Department of Public Health called the Healthy HotSpot Initiative. And the county received funding from the Center for Disease Control and Prevention's Partnerships in Improving Community Health, or PITCH grant, as we've been referring to it. And Active Trans is one of several technical assistance providers working on this project. We're working on the built environment and active living portion of this grant to provide technical assistance, but there are others like us who are providing technical assistance on nutrition, obesity prevention grants, and also on smoking cessation. Mm-hmm. So we are one of many. Mm-hmm. Through this initiative, we're providing the following services to communities. First, we'll be providing a comprehensive 2-day training in September for all communities awarded Complete Streets Technical Assistance grants. We'll also be working with you to form a Complete Streets Coalition or Steering Committee that will be guiding your process along the way. These might include decision makers who are involved in roadway projects or other folks who may have things to say about complete streets in your area. We'll also be providing technical guidance in the creation of complete streets processes, protocols, and things of that nature. So we'll work with you very closely on those technical details to help you move forward with your implementation of complete streets. Active Trans has been working on complete streets for a number of years. As such, we've built up a large database of information and materials that help communities understand complete streets sort of in every facet possible. So we'll be working with you to understand those best practices and examples and address the needs of your community in various ways. And we'll also work with you very closely to integrate complete streets practices into all stages of your roadway project development and delivery. So we'll look at roadway projects from start to finish and help you figure out the best ways to incorporate complete streets practices into those designs. So for eligibility, this grant is focused specifically on suburban Cook County communities. So any community within suburban Cook County is eligible to apply. However, there are also 33 priority communities that are listed on our website. Those are communities that will receive preference in this application process, but you're not limited to that. If you're not one of the 33 priority communities, you're welcome to apply for this initiative. All applicants need to include a letter of support with their application from a local decision maker, whether that's the mayor, your village board president, your entire board, or your local council. So make sure to include that with your application, and those that don't will either need to follow up with or will not receive funding. Communities with existing complete streets policies are ineligible for this grant. So if you're one of those communities that already has a policy on the books, we appreciate that, but we're looking to work with communities who are looking for a policy that don't yet have one. And another note, we have a second RFP out right now with CMAP's LTA program for active transportation plans. You're welcome to apply for both this RFP and the CMAP RFP. So applying for one does not make you ineligible for the other. For the application timeline, so the RFP has already been released. We released it on May 15th, and it's open right now. You can access it on our website at activetrans.org/healthy-hotspot, and you can see the first bullet point here on our screen has that URL. We welcome this application in a variety of formats. On our website, we have a form that you can fill out and submit electronically. You can also email us with either a Word doc or a PDF with the full application. And for those of you who are filling out the application online, please also make sure to submit your letter of support from your governing body so that we have that. So you'll email that separately from the application if you submit online. The deadline to apply is June 25th at 5 p.m. and we'll be announcing awards pretty quickly after that on July 6th. And finally, we want to note that there is a mandatory Complete Streets conference happening in late September this year. So we want to make sure that all applicants can commit to attending that and also hopefully bring their Complete Streets committee with them.
Right, and we actually just moments ago got confirmation that we are going to have that conference on September 17th and 18th, for sure. We've been going back and forth with dates recently, but 17th and 18th, and it will be in suburban Cook County somewhere, more than likely western or southern suburbs, but we're not sure yet, but somewhere as convenient as possible for all of you.
Great, thanks, Melody. Next slide. And just to give you a general sense of the timeline for this project, as Melody mentioned, this is a 2.5-year initiative. And so as we mentioned, starting in July, we'll be notifying awardees. From July through August, we'll be working with you to formulate and develop that Complete Streets team, your local team of stakeholders. Through December, we'll be working with you to formalize your vision and objectives for this initiative. So that will include some additional meetings where we sit down and map things out. Again, in September 17th and 18th, we have the mandatory Complete Streets conference. Again, we'll be really hoping to get your entire Complete Streets team to this so you can work through developing policy, language, and other goals for the project. And then starting in 2016, we'll be working with you to develop and integrate the process and procedures into your daily way of doing things. And then finally in 2017, so through September 2017, we'll work with you to test and implement your Complete Streets strategies. So we'll try whatever processes and guidelines you've created in the previous years, we'll run those through an actual project and see what works and what doesn't, and hopefully refine and tweak things as needed. So for some frequently asked questions, we've received several of these questions from multiple communities, so we want to make sure that everyone is in understanding of the guidance for this application. So first, can multiple communities partner to apply for policies and or plans jointly? Yes, you may partner with your neighboring communities. As long as they're adjacent and abutting you, you're welcome to apply together either for a Complete Streets policy or for an active transportation plan through the LTA project. Second question, can communities outside the 33 priority Healthy HotSpots communities apply? Yes, you may, but we will give priority to applicants from the 33 priority communities. Third question, how would a local Complete Streets policy help with state or county roads in my community? So for any project that's happening, the state and county must take into consideration the guidelines outlined in your Complete Streets policy, so your municipal Complete Streets policy, whenever they're designing and reconstructing roadways. So having a Complete Streets policy will help give you leverage when a state or county project is happening on one of your roads to say, yes, we'd like to include a sidewalk or a bikeway or another Complete Streets element that meets our community's unique needs. And then finally, final question, many of my community streets are managed by the Illinois Department of Transportation, IDOT. Don't they already have a Complete Streets policy? In fact, yes, IDOT does have a Complete Streets policy, as does the Cook County Department of Transportation and Highways. But these policies only impact roads that are under their jurisdiction. So roads that are owned by you, your local roads, are not impacted by a Complete Streets policy. So in order to get a maximum impact from a Complete Streets approach, all roadways in all jurisdictions should have a complete streets philosophy so that they're best serving all and meeting all the needs of users in their communities.
And Heather, can I just add one thing to that? One thing that IDOT has is that when PACE wants to put shelters along an IDOT roadway, which is where most of sort of these major bus routes are, IDOT won't allow PACE to do that unless the community has a complete streets policy. So even though it's IDOT's roadway, you have to be a part of that process to be able to get things like shelters for your buses.
Exactly, yeah. Thanks for adding that example, Leslie. So we will open up the floor in just a second for additional questions, but if you think of things after this webinar, you're welcome to contact us with questions. All questions and answers will be posted at www.activetrans.org/healthy-hotspots. And you may ask any additional questions directly of us. Please email Melody at melody@activetrans.org.
Great, so that's our piece. If any of the folks on the line have a question, go ahead and type it into the field, and we'll see what we can do to help you out. Yeah. You know what we're going to do instead? We're going to go ahead and unmute everybody's phone, and we can just have a conversation. There aren't that many of us on the line. I don't think it'll get too crazy. So if anybody has something they'd like to ask or just comment on, that's fine. We can do that vocally. Go ahead. Yeah.
Hello.
Hi.
Hi. I'm Adrienne Fisher from Triton College, and I just have a sort of a small question. Is your application separate from the all-purpose application that's on the RTA site? Because you also have a slightly different deadline and timeline of announcements, so I'm a little confused about how the two fit together.
Yep, that's a good question. Yes, they are indeed different applications, and they are different processes. So one thing that Cook County asked that we do with our technical assistance was to partner with CMAP and utilize their platform for awarding plans through their local technical assistance program. So that's why we kind of split things. And so we have a separate application that, as you mentioned, is on the RTA website or the CMAP website for the local technical assistance program. And that application is for plans, for active transportation plans, bicycle pedestrian transit plans. So if you want to apply for that, you need to go through that avenue. This is specifically for complete streets, I'll say the word policies, that communities want to, adopt. So it's a kind of a dual, it's nice to have both, but you can make traction in a community with one or the other. So they're not mutually exclusive, but they do complement each other quite a bit.
Okay, so you suggest that we should really fill out both applications then?
Yeah, I think it's up to you and your municipal partners. I think you guys are working with Melrose Park, is that correct?
Yeah, and River Grove, I'm pretty sure.
River Grove, right. So, find out from them if they're interested in both opportunities. It's the same folks, the same team at Active Trans will be working on both. So it won't be hard to juggle. We'll make sure and streamline if you were fortunate enough to win both applications. The process will work hand in glove.
Okay. All right. So we should ask if they want policies or plans or both. And okay, I can talk with them. Okay, thanks.
Exactly. Yep.
Right.
Any other questions?
Karen, can you hear me? This is Karen Price from the Village of Midlothian.
Hi there.
Hi. Is there any local match for this?
Not for the complete streets policies, no. And there's no local match for the plans either. So
okay, great.
Yeah, let me talk this through just a little bit. For the Complete Streets policies, there is absolutely no monetary local match. The only thing we ask is that staff time, you know, municipal staff and engineering consultants and so on and so forth donate their time to this effort and work with us. For the plans through LTA, any of the plans that are funded through our project, through Healthy HotSpot, do not require a local match. But however, you may, if you are not selected for a Healthy Hotspot for one of our plans, you may still be competitive for other local technical assistance through CMAP or RTA. They have their own pots of money that they're going to be funding plans for. So in that case, if you make it through their process and are selected, they do have a local match requirement. And it's a sliding scale based on your communities, based on a bunch of factors. But
Okay, great. Thank you.
yep. Any more questions? Going once? Going twice? Okay, well, as we mentioned, if things pop up in your mind that you are dying to know more about, please email us later. We're more than happy to assist and walk you through the application if you have any questions. And also, we strongly encourage everybody to apply. We are going to be able to work with at least 8 communities on Complete Streets policies. So we're really anxious to bring new people on board and get to know you and help make your communities more walkable and bikeable. So go for it. Thank you, everybody, for your time. And we will conclude this webinar at this time.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.